I am a creature of the night. Hello, my bookish lovelies! Kira here, and today I'm going to be doing the Night Owl book tag. I was tagged by the World of Reading to do this book tag. Thank you so much for tagging me. I will leave her channel linked in the description below. Also, this tag was originally created by Paperback to Hardback. I'm going to leave her original tag video also in the description below. I am very excited to do this tag. Nighttime happens to be like one of my favorite times of the day. Usually, like, I cannot stay up past 8 o'clock, but I usually sleep for about 2 to 3 hours, then I wake up, and then I'm up for like 3 hours, and then I go back to sleep again. So I do usually catch about 3 hours of like just pure silence, like there's no birds, like there's no background noise, there's like hardly anybody's up, and I love it. Mainly, like, I usually like spend at least 3 hours, like probably in the middle of the night, anywhere between an hour to 3 hours, like in the middle of the night, depending on how rested I feel or how exhausted, will be spent reading a book, because I usually get all of my best reading done right in the middle of the night. And I do that for pretty much most books. So I'm really excited like that I got tagged in this, because while I cannot stay up past 8 o'clock, I usually wake up again at some point in the night. I have a very early schedule. Usually, like during the week, I wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning and I work 10-hour days. So by the time, like, you know, around 8 o'clock hits, my biological clock is set to pass out around 8 o'clock. But I always have a problem staying asleep, so I end up waking up again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the tag itself. So the first question is, name a book you stayed up all night to read. I have a terrible time staying awake, honestly. So I don't think I've actually stayed up like all night reading a book like since I was in high school. When I was in high school, I ended up like staying up all night to read some paranormal romance books, like because those were interesting and like they got my heart racing and they gave me butterflies, and I just really enjoyed reading those. So I wouldn't say like that I stayed up all night reading anything, but like I said before, I usually spend about 2 to 3 hours like in the middle of the night, like even during the week, just kind of reading a book, because like I wake up and the only way I can seem to get myself to go back to sleep is if I read myself back into exhaustion. Question number 2 is, name a book with a dark cover that you own. I think the perfect book that I picked for this is How to Make Friends in the Dark, because if you look at the cover itself, the girl itself, like the shape of the girl, actually looks like she has stars in her. Not to mention like the fact that we have the word dark in this. It's supposed to be a very tough read about loss and, you know, staying strong and everything. And I'm just really excited about it because I love this cover. I always have. I love how like it's the night sky. What's one of my actual favorite things is like the night sky. I'm obsessed with nebulas. I'm obsessed with stars. I love all of that stuff. And even like on the back cover, like with all the blurbs and stuff, you can kind of see like that there are stars all around the back cover as well. So I really am just obsessed with this cover. Like I have been since I saw it. And actually, like that was part of the reason I bought the book, was not just the storyline, but the fact like that it looked like a night sky inside the girl. Question number 3. Name a book with an owl on the cover or an owl character in the book. For this, I actually picked Skinful of Shadows by Frances Hardinge. This is not a book that I've read yet. I hope to be getting to this one soon. But if you guys like look, this book is absolutely stunning. But I love owls, and like so actually like one of the selling features of this book for me was actually the owls like on either side of the cover. Also, if we go underneath, we actually have owls like right here on the sides also, and I'm just so obsessed with this cover. Like I just think it's beautiful. So I'm obsessed. Like I'm actually like a huge fan of owls. Like I love owls. Actually, like I recently discovered Owl Talk on TikTok and I'm obsessed. I am literally 100% completely obsessed, and I am not ashamed, because the owls on there are like far superior. Question number 4. Name a book with night in the title. I actually have 2 books for this. So the first book is The Bear and the Nightingale. This is by Katherine Arden. This is actually a book, I just finished this the other day. I'm really excited. I finally got to this book. It's actually a Russian-inspired fairy tale that's geared towards adults, that's based off of Russian folklore. And I don't know if I'm going to have it up by the time this video goes up, but I am doing a full review for this. Like, I really enjoyed this book. It was really immersive, and like the old school like fairy tale feelings like really got me. So I was just so excited about this, and it's just it's actually called the Winter Night Trilogy, which is also night in the title of the actual trilogy. So yes, so this is the first book that I wanted to mention. It seems like all the really interesting stuff in this book happens at night, so love it. So the other book that I wanted to mention is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This is book 2 in the Strange the Dreamer duology, and also, like, this book seems to have all the really cool stuff happening in the middle of the night. This is a fantasy, and I love it because the first book really focuses on dreams, because it's, you know, Strange the Dreamer, and it focuses like on like, you know, the evolution of dreams, and I think it captures dreams and like the evolution of dreams and how dreams are never stagnant. Like once you like realize a first dream, you end up getting more dreams. It's like you're never done like with dreams. Dreams just go from like one dream to another dream. You know, like, and it seems like as you go, like the dreams just become like more, and they get bigger, and you get more of them, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful book. By this time, like, I actually like got into this. Like, this is about like our other character in this who can actually manipulate nightmares and dreams, and she actually goes like into dreams, and she actually like kind of like a bunch of moths come out of her mouth, and she can affect people's dreams. So she's kind of like considered the muse of nightmares, and I really like that aspect of this. So I feel like this duology like right here is just such a perfect encapsulation of this book tag. Like, I could not go in this book tag like without actually mentioning these two books. So this is actually perfect for this. So you know what, I would actually like really pick them up, especially if you don't mind like a slow burn, like with a lot of detail. This is very slow moving. It like pretty much like the whole book takes place like, and it's a pretty thick book, in the span of a few days. It's actually like I read these books for no other reason like than the writing themselves. Question number 5. Name your favorite childhood bedtime story / book. You know, I actually didn't read too much when I was a little kid. I mean, basically, like, my bedtime stories was, like, pretty much, like, whatever was on the TV at the time. I actually, like, didn't become a huge reader until, like, really, like, recently. Like, I've always, like, read books, and I've always, like, gone through, like, and there's been series, like, where I've binged intermittently, but I have to say, like, that I've never devoured books, like, as intensely as I have, like, before I got to BookTube. So BookTube's actually kind of been like a big inspiration for me, because like it's kept me so motivated like to read like tons of books, and now I average like over 100 books a year. So you know, I guess like one of my, I guess if like we're talking about like inspiration books and stuff like that, like the book like that kind of inspired me like the most like when I was growing up was Matilda. I loved how much she read books. Like, I was inspired by that. I always wanted to be a Matilda. I wanted to go like to the library and read like these huge thick books and just be completely immersed in them. But finding motivation like to read sometimes is really difficult. So I loved Matilda. I watched the movie, and then I read the book, and I was really obsessed with just becoming a Matilda one day. So I mean, if we're talking like about like inspiration and maybe bedtime stories, I think that would probably be a really good one to talk about. Question number 6, name a book with a dark setting. For this, I'm going to pick The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. This is also a book that I recently read. Basically, the majority of this does take place at night. There are these people called gatherers, and they actually use dream magic to go out and collect dreams, dying dreams from the elderly, like that are too weak to go to the temple, and contribute their dreams to the dream magic. Dreams in this world they're used for healing, like they're used for, you know, like mental well-being and everything, and dream magic really is like an integral part of this world. The younger generation does contribute their dreams to the temple, and the temple like has these people called sharers, and the sharers are the ones like that actually use the dream magic to kind of create like this overall well-being like in people. Like if somebody's having a mental illness, or if somebody is struggling like with a particular like physical illness, then these sharers actually use that dream magic to heal people. And so like there are people like that actually go like that have a dream, and they donate their dream to the temple so that the sharers can use it to help people. Well, the majority of this book does take place at night because the gatherers, primarily, they use the dream magic and they collect the dream magic from the dying elderly, like, and help them pass on peacefully. And they do this at night, right in the smack and dab in the middle of the night. And these people, like, that have all these dreams like that, you know, like, it can be siphoned out from them, are too weak to go to the temple. So this is a perfect example of a book that is set primarily at night. Now, there is some during the day scenes, but the majority of the action of this takes place in the middle of the night. Question number 7, name a book that has chapters set during the night. For this, I'm going to pick Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So our main character in this, she is very mysterious. Basically, she's a maiden, and she's going to be kind of helping, like, the ascended get more ascended, which is basically like these people, like, that kind of sacrifice themselves to the gods, and like they die and then like they're filled up by the gods and like they become somewhat immortal. So there are scenes in this, like, where she is kind of living a dual life. She at one moment is the maiden during the day who nobody knows the face of because she has to wear a veil out, and at night she's going around helping people. Like, she's going around not only like killing like off like these people like that have potentials to become wolven, which are kind of like vampires, but she's also going through like and trying to protect people, and she's a very strong and powerful person. It's like a 50-50 book. Like, some of this takes place during the day and some of it takes place at night. So this is not like 100% like dark book, but it does have a very dark atmosphere, and there are quite a few chapters that do take place at night. Question number 8, name a book that has a dark plot line or ending. And for like this, and I haven't talked about this book in a little bit, but this book came to mind, is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. So this is basically about our main character, Audrey Rose, who cuts open dead bodies, and she's very into forensic medicine. And you know, for the this is like takes place like in the late 1800s, so that was pretty improper for a woman. This follows like her trying to figure out the person who is supposed to be Jack the Ripper, who's been randomly killing women. I cannot think of something like that follows a darker plot line than this, as far as, you know, like overall like just fun plot line. Like, it is based off actual historical information, and while the content itself is not so fun because it's very dark, Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell are like the fun portions of this book. Everything else pretty much is super dark, and I really enjoyed this book. This is definitely like this, when I read this, like, this was definitely a 5-star read for me, and I still to this day just absolutely love this book. I love how dark the plot line is. I've always been a huge fan of really dark plot lines, and also, you know, kind of like serial killers and like murder mysteries and that kind of thing. So this was a lot of fun. Question number 9, what's your midnight snack of choice? So I have a really big thing. Like, a few years ago, I ended up having like, I want to say about 5 years ago, I ended up having like a real problem like with stomach ulcers. I had 2 of them. So I don't actually like snack after like a certain time. Like, I try not to eat past 7 o'clock because in order to take care of my digestive system and everything else, I actually don't like to snack, because if I eat anything, I don't lay down for 2 hours after I eat, because like actually like that's really bad for digestion. So I make sure like that in order to keep up with my digestive system and make sure like that it's functioning optimally, I usually eat a really big meal, like, you know, tons of stuff before 7 o'clock, and then I don't eat anything at all past 7. So for me, like, I really don't snack in the middle of the night because it's just not possible for me like to do what I need to do, like to keep myself healthy. So last question is question number 10. What drink will keep you up all night? So once again, like I said, it doesn't matter what I drink or whatever. Like, I actually don't like caffeine very much. It aggravates my anxiety. So if I do have anything with caffeine in it, it has very little. So I don't like really drink coffee. If I drink tea, it's usually decaf green tea, both of like which don't keep me up very long because like decaf doesn't have enough caffeine in it to keep me up. One of my favorite drinks though that I actually drink is called kombucha, and it's by Synergy, and it's Raspberry Rush. This is my absolute favorite drink out there. This is actually really healthy because it has probiotics in it. I'm a huge fan of probiotics. I try to like supplement like a lot of stuff like in my diet, like that has to do with probiotics. Fun fact about me, I'm kind of a health food nut because of like everything that's happened to me like health wise. So like I realized like that my diet is kind of like the best plan of action. So I try like to drink like stuff like that has tons of probiotics. I eat lots of vegetables. If I eat junk food, like it's pretty much like straightforward. Like I avoid like a lot of different things, but that's a whole different thing. If you guys are interested in hearing more about like my diet and stuff, leave a comment down below and I will do a video strictly dedicated like to my lifestyle and my diet and everything, because like it is a huge part of me, like it pretty much like is a ruling portion of me. And so like this like right here does have a little bit of caffeine. Kombucha, for you guys who don't know, like kombucha is like made like as a fermented drink, and like you can do it with water or tea or a few different things. And this one actually has black tea in it. Black tea has almost as much caffeine as a regular standard cup of coffee in it, but this is fermented, so I'm not like really sure overall. And actually this is a mixture of black tea and green tea. But it also, this particular one, they do have different flavors, has raspberry juice in it too. I really like this because it is carbonated. It's the only carbonated drink that I drink. It actually has a little bit, because it's fermented, a little bit of alcohol. They do have to card me for this, but like it's like less than 1% alcohol, I believe. Yeah, it's like less than like 1%. It's not even enough like to get me drunk. Like I don't really drink alcohol either. So so basically like this, between like the like little bit of caffeine, like I'm just a little bit of alcohol, I'm not drunk. Like I mean, it gives me like a little bit of a zing, but it's not enough like to do anything of note. So this is definitely like one of my all-time favorite drinks. Like if I drink anything like in the middle of the night, it's either water or this. And this actually does give me a little bit of energy. Like if I have to film at night, this is pretty much what I'm drinking. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. Okay, so that was pretty much the Night Owl book tag. I am going to be tagging like a few people. I'm not sure if they were tagged in this by anybody else. I'm tagging Eric from Break Even Books. I'm tagging Teresa from The Reading Elf. I'm tagging Sarah from Voyage in Words. I'm going to leave all of their channels linked down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really curious to see like who else does this tag. Of course, like, you know, you don't have to, like, this is just, I was thinking of you guys and I thought like this would be a good time to tag you. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I will see you guys again very soon.